What's going on, YouTube? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 5 Reunion Part 3. So this is the end of the season, and it was a good season, and it did end on a positive note, thank God, but let's get into it. So it starts off with Destiny being reprimanded by her boss, Carlos King. Basically, from what I took of it, Carlos King was telling Destiny, hey, if you want to come back next season, you're going to have to give the people what they want. And they want to know more about you and your life, and you better give it to them. Or else, we ain't got no use for you. So Destiny promises that when she comes back, she's going to be more transparent, talk more about herself, show more of her life, and that she's even going to try to bring her man on the show. Okay, fine. We'll see if that's gonna actually happen. Then Melody and Destiny. So they talk about the fallout of their friendship. So this whole thing about what Melody overheard in the hotel room, I'm beginning to think that I don't think Melody heard anything really bad between Letitia and Destiny. I think Melody was just more hurt that Destiny was choosing to spend time with Letitia at that moment instead of her, because it was Melody that brought Destiny on the show, and Melody probably felt like Destiny should show more loyalty to her than to Letitia. So I think I think Melody had her feelings hurt because those two were hanging out, and she was maybe feeling left out or something, because I never got to hear exactly what Melody heard them say about her, if anything. Tisha says that she was trying to get Destiny to reach out to Melody because Melody seemed really sad on the reunion stage. But what else did you say, Letitia? What else did you say about her? So I don't know. I think that Melody was just feeling hurt that Destiny chose Tisha over her at that particular moment. They could have been talking about the man on the moon, and Melody would still feel the same way about that. So Tisha then said that Melody had a dark soul and is a devil in sheep's clothing. I don't know if she meant the devil in disguise or a wolf in sheep's clothing. I don't know what was going on there with those word choices, but we got it. I thought what Tisha said was really mean. I thought it was really hurtful. And then y'all wonder why Melody doesn't want to be friends with these people. So then the question was asked to Destiny, do you believe that Melody has a dark soul? And Destiny said that she does things that can be dark. And then she gives this example about how when Melody was on the Carlos King talk show, and they were talking about, I think Carlos had asked if Melody has ever helped out a friend in need. And then Melody talked about how Destiny had a pink notice on her door for her light bill not being paid. And I think Carlos King then asked her, well, how much was it? And Melody said it was $6,000. And so it implied that her light bill was $6,000, but that's not what she meant. She meant that she had given her $6,000 just to help her out, but the light bill was not $6,000. And so Destiny said that, that was a dark thing that Melody did, that she did not clear that up for the people, because people online thought that Destiny had a $6,000 light bill and that she was, poor and destitute and, about to be homeless, living under a bridge, and, life was just falling apart. And she didn't want it to seem that way. Girl, it don't matter what the people thought. You know what was going on, and Melody knew what was going on. So she was upset that Melody didn't clear that up. She should have said, no, the light bill was not actually $6,000, and Melody's doing just fine. I'm just giving out $6,000 for the heck of it. Moving on from there. So then they asked Melody if she was ever bothered by they asked Melody if she was ever bothered by the friendship between Destiny and Martell. And Melody said she would feel some kind of way when she'd be on the phone with with Destiny. And then Destiny would say, well, girl, let me get off the phone with you because Martell is calling. And Melody never understood why Destiny would be so quick to talk to Martell, because according to Destiny herself, all Martell did was talk bad about Melody. And if Melody is your girl, why do you want to listen to the negativity coming out of Martell's mouth about her? So she did feel some kind of way about that. But then, Destiny defends herself by saying, I knew Martell before I ever knew Melody. Me and Martell, we knew each other since we were from the womb. We were friends from the womb. We've been best friends since the day we were born, whatever. So she didn't understand why Melody would feel anything, because her and Martell knew each other way before she knew who Melody was. But on the show, y'all made it seem like y'all were thick as thieves before y'all's friendship was over. So she made it seem like she was much closer to Melody than she ever was to Martell. I think that I know I never liked it whenever I would see the scenes between Destiny and Martell and they would start talking about Melody. I didn't think that was cool. I understand that you're friends with Martell way before you knew who Melody was, but there is such a thing as, I don't want to say girl code, but just one woman talking about another female to a man, especially when that other female is the man's ex-wife and the mother of his children. Why do you want to engage in that? It's not like some chick off the street or some chick he met at a bar. This is his ex-wife who he shared a life with for many years, has children with. And if you care about Martell so much, don't you care about his children? And you feel comfortable talking bad about the mother of Martell's children, even if Martell is engaging in that kind of talk, you don't have to contribute to it. So I always thought it was really tacky of Destiny to be having those type of conversations with Martell about Melody. And if you want to talk like that, do it off camera in y'all's own private time. But for you to be blasting Melody with her ex-husband on camera, I thought the whole thing was just really tacky and disgusting. So then they asked Destiny, would you want to reconcile your friendship with Melody? Destiny said no. Melody was fine with that because Melody has been saying that she doesn't see her for Destiny anymore, and that friendship is dead in the water. So then Martell was saying something about how Melody holds on to a grudge, or Melody doesn't want to move forward with people. And Martell was like, I'm friends with everybody here. I'm friends with everybody here. And Melody questioned, like, why would you want to be friends with people who talk about you like a damn dog? People who laugh about you, make fun of you. You know, they're constantly making fun of the fact that you can't even get a builder's license, which is like, you know, the basics of going into commercial real estate or doing commercial real estate is to have a builder's license. And these people are constantly making fun of you over that. And by the way, whatever happened to the test that Martell took for his builder's license? Did he ever pass that test? I never saw the conclusion of that. Moving on. Then they start talking about Melody and Martell and their marriage and all of that. So Melody and Martell are back in court because Martell is trying to get full custody of the kids, or he's trying to get, I'm not full custody of the children. He's trying to have the court order Melody to not allow certain people to watch the children when they are in Melody's care. So his issue is Melody's brother. He does not want a man watching his children, even if that man is their uncle. And Martell says that it's not like Melody and her brother grew up together. They just met, later on in life. So I guess he's trying to imply that Melody doesn't really know him that well. I don't know. So they're going to court over that. I think it's silly. I think that, yes, parents will leave their children with people who end up harming their children. But I think in this situation, I don't think that Melody, I would hope that, Melody felt like her kids were safe with her brother, no matter what. And also, I hope that Melody would not let the kids be watched by the uncle just to spite Martell, that hopefully she's doing it because she legitimately does believe that he is a positive influence for her children and a proper caretaker for them. Okay. We can only hope. So, Martell says that if that doesn't work out, where he can't get what he wants, where he can limit, the uncle babysitting the children, he says he's going to try to get full custody from Melody if he's not already doing that. I was confused if he was actually doing that or he will be doing that. But whatever the situation is, it's on the table for him to get full custody from Melody, because he says Melody ain't got time for her kids and she's got 20-something people watching her kids at any given time. I know he's so full of it, and it's just all exaggerations. Then Carlos King said he was really concerned about Martell. So they had this moment where Martell, said that I think they asked him, or he said that he really missed that. And that's when Carlos King got deep into Martell and said, well, when you say that, you're referring to you missed your wife and you missed your marriage and the family that you had and the life that you had before. So Carlos King got really emotional. I was like, Carlos, what the hell's going on here? So Carlos was like, Martell, I think, you're just so afraid to really reveal that you regret doing what you did that led to the breakup of your marriage, and you don't want people to see you at a weak point. He said that he's afraid of showing people that he made a mistake, because he would always blame Melody. He says he had the affair because Melody wasn't doing certain things for him, which caused him to run to other women, which is a whole bunch of crap. If you feel like your wife isn't fulfilling you or whatever, either you try to work it out, have a conversation with her, go to counseling and try to fix the problem, and if none of that works, then you seek a divorce before you start fool-a-lawing with other women and having babies outside your marriage and all this other nonsense. So that was not cool. Every time how he would always blame Melody for him, stepping out on his marriage. And then Carlos King says that he really is missing Melody. And whenever he has these outbursts of anger with Melody, he's just afraid of being vulnerable. I totally 100% believe that. I totally believe that because he's got this thing about looking like the bad guy or appearing like he did something wrong. Maybe Melody did do things in the marriage that was not always on the up and up. And maybe he's frustrated that his stuff was caught out there, but hers wasn't. And so he always wants to let the world know that, hey, Melody she did stuff too. Whatever the situation is, the bottom line is I do believe that Martell regrets what he did, blames himself for his marriage falling apart, but he doesn't want to show it. He doesn't want to admit to that because he doesn't want to look like the bad guy or the only one that was at fault. Nobody knows what really happened in that marriage except the two of them. Melody could have done some stuff that we don't know about. Martell probably did. We don't know. All we can go by is what we see with our own eyeballs. And what we see with our own eyeballs and what we're hearing with our own ears is that Martell had an affair on his wife and ended up having a baby with his mistress while he was still married to his wife. So, and then Melody was even crying. So everybody on that stage was crying. It was very, very emotional because Melody and Martell were good together. When they were good, they were damn good. And there's no couple on that stage that can compare to Melody and Martell when they were at the height of, their marriage or when their marriage was at its very best. There is no couple on there that can compare to that because they were down for each other through and through. I have always said, when I used to review this show I had always said that Martell, what caused him to step out of his marriage was the fact that Melody's career was taken off and he felt less than. Maybe he felt emasculated by the fact that his wife was doing so much better than him. And so he needed another woman to make him feel more masculine, to make him feel more manly, to make him feel wanted, to make him feel important, because he wasn't getting that from his marriage. Now, either Melody wasn't giving it to him, or it was in his head, oh, because I'm not on her level, she must see me as less than, even when she wasn't seeing him as less than. He probably just had this all in his mind that, oh, because I'm not doing all the stuff that she's doing and making all these accomplishments and winning all these awards, and I'm always the one showing up, I got to watch the kids while she's on stage making a speech. I got to hold her purse when she's accepting an award. All this stuff, he probably was just overthinking it, and he was too much in his head. And maybe Melody was still trying to take care of him and be the proper wife and the proper mother and all of that, but in his head he felt less than because maybe he was jealous or whatever, or felt like he should have been doing as much as she was. So he sought that whatever he thought he was missing from Melody, he sought that in other women. I've always believed that. If only he didn't feel that way, or if they had a better conversation about what was going on, if both of them were more upfront about what was going on, maybe things would have been different. Because even after their divorce, they were still there for each other, because you can't say nothing about Melody in front of Martell, and most of the time you can't say nothing about Martell in front of Melody. And they definitely unite and become one strong force when someone says anything about their children. So Carlos King implied that maybe as, Melody's career rose, she neglected her husband. Melody denied that. I don't know if she did or she didn't. It's a possibility that she could have. That happens a lot when the woman is the one that's, her star is getting brighter and brighter and brighter, and she's dimming out her husband's light, and maybe she's not giving him the attention that she once did because either she's too busy, or maybe she feels like, he's not on my level, so he's not worth my time anymore. But Melody denies it. She says, no, that was not the case. I did not neglect my husband. She says, if anything, she could have listened more. On both, obviously, both of them could have done things a whole lot differently to save that marriage. Moving on to the Whitlows. So they come out looking very prom. Looking very 1997 prom with the matching red. It was overkill for me. I understand that, the couples nowadays, they want to have something matchy matchy whenever, they get dressed up, and I totally get that, but this was just the most. And the red was so bright. It was just doing the most. So, the only thing I can say about the Whitlows, like, I guess they were gone for so much of the season because they were trying to make a baby. She just found out she was pregnant. But anyways, the girl was pregnant. Okay, Tiffany's 4 months pregnant. She's expecting another boy, and they named him Ace. Then they'll move on to Kimmy. I knew this was going to be hard. They move on to Kimmy, and Kimmy is looking great. She looks like she's beautiful, radiant. You would never know that she's going through something as serious as cancer. She is full of life. She's got 7 weeks left of chemo. She still has to have surgery. After that, she has 30 weeks of radiation. Carlos King talks about his own mother who died from breast cancer, who didn't go to the doctor, and how she suffered in silence. And that got really emotional for everybody, especially Carlos. And so it ended on a positive note as far as Kimmy's looking good. Kimmy is doing good. And she delivered a very important message. Number one, Black women are affected by, breast cancer and all kinds of ailments, a whole lot more than other women, because of, not just because they don't want to go to the doctor, but because they can't afford to, don't have insurance, don't have the knowledge, etc. It's a whole bunch of stuff. And also another positive note was, she's telling us, you have to go to the doctor, get your annuals, get your exams, all of that. And be an advocate for yourself, because there's a lot of stuff out there that they're not going to tell you about, that they should tell you, but they won't tell you. And so it's really important to be an advocate for yourself. She talked about how the what do they call it? The regular breast examination that they do is not enough. Sometimes, you have to ask for an actual ultrasound, because, some of us might have really dense breast tissue that the regular I forgot what it's called, mammogram, that the regular mammogram won't pick up on. That was a very, 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 very good point, and I'm pretty sure that we all do appreciate that. So it did end on a positive note. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for rocking with me for these Love and Marriage Huntsville reviews. If you have, I really do appreciate it. On your way out, don't forget to rate the video if you like this content. Go ahead and subscribe, and then I will see you at the next season of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Bye.